Hello everyone, it is i7s and welcome back to the channel. This is module 2.11 Building Basics, and today we are covering the greenhouse. So we have a few buildings that we have to cover in today's episode, but not too many, and it'll be a pretty light episode, so let us get started. The greenhouse room has a few requirements, much like all the other rooms that we've covered so far. The requirements include you need a farm station. It has a minimum size requirement of 12 tiles and a maximum size requirement of 96 tiles. Pulling it up in the database, the greenhouse is an enclosed agricultural space best utilized by duplicants with crop tending skills, and crops grown within a greenhouse can be tended with farm station fertilizer to increase their growth speed. Essentially, when you are thinking about building a greenhouse, you can think of it as a room where you can speed up the growth of the plants that are inside of it. But it's important to look at some of the other requirements that come from this as well. So let's start off with the skill. We're going to use Quinn real quick. Pulling up the skills. Crop tending is right here, and it requires the improved farming 1 skill from before, and it will give you the ability to use the farm station building. I'm going to pause it real quick. The farm station building, let's go over that now, produces micronutrient fertilizer to increase plant growth rates. Assigned duplicants must possess the aforementioned crop tending trait. This building is a necessary component of the greenhouse room, and this station only has an effect on crops grown within the same room. So essentially, if you want to speed up the growth rate of plants, it's got to be in the room that this building is in. Now, the thing that is important to be aware of is in order to get the micronutrient fertilizer that then is used on the plants that you're growing, you will need regular fertilizer. You will need 5 kilograms of fertilizer. You can use the Fertilizer Synthesizer to produce fertilizer. The thing to keep in mind is with the Fertilizer Synthesizer, it uses polluted water and phosphorus to produce fertilizer. So you're going to have to find both of these, ideally renewable, if you plan on going that route with fertilizer and using the farm station. It also takes power to use as well. And it's important to keep in mind that, like with many buildings, it will cause heat to exist in the surrounding environment. And interestingly, it'll also produce 10 grams per second of natural gas. You could tap into that natural gas to offset the power consumption, probably. I'm not going to do the math here, but you could do that. But keep in mind that the Fertilizer Synthesizer will produce natural gas. Alright, we don't need Quinn anymore, so we can now move on to a few other things with the room. So you'll be growing plants, and I'm not going to go over all of plants and all that in this module, but I will be going over these 2 tiles right here. The Hydroponic Farm Tiles here, the thing with these is they can be positioned like this so that a plant is growing upright, but some plants can grow from top to bottom, so you can also do that here. And the regular farm tiles can also have the same effect as well. The key difference between both of these is the hydroponic farm tiles. You can run pipes, liquid pipes, through them to help deliver water. I know millwood does not take water, but I wanted something quick just to give you guys an idea. And then the farm tiles, they do not take water directly that way. Instead, what you will have to do, I believe, and I will explain why I say I believe, is you will have to dump water directly onto them. Now, I say believe because, honestly, I do not use the farm tiles as is. I use the hydroponic farm tiles. I like the idea of essentially automating water delivery to these rather than having to come up with something like this. So personally, I recommend just skipping the farm tiles and moving over to these as well. So to recap, you would need a duplicate that has crop tending to get the most out of it, to also use the building itself. And the building itself, the farm station, is needed inside the room that is growing plants in order to get the benefit of making your plants grow faster. Now, I have my own biased views on if this whole room is essential or not. Personally, if you watch my live stream, I don't actually have this building set up. And yes, it could make things faster, especially if you can reliably produce enough fertilizer to make the micronutrient fertilizer. But I don't. And the reason why is I don't like the aforementioned size limitation. The fact that the maximum size is 96 tiles just kind of turns me off of making this room in general. And you can do it without needing the farm station and making this room. You can have a successful colony with just having it completely open. For instance, that might look like something like this, where you have all of your plants here and it's just completely open. Maybe you might need a roof depending on what you are growing. If it needs to have light coming down or anything, or if you just have the preference of having a roof. But the fact that it has that size limitation is something that makes it where I don't particularly like this room. But perhaps if you're trying to grow something small, like a small collection of plants, then having the farming station might be useful. But that's just my 2 cents. Well, I'm Sevens. I hope that this has been helpful. And if you have any questions, leave them in the comments below. And I will see you guys in the next one.